Welcome back to the Volvo 740 T5 engine swap project. I know some of you have been following this build for quite some time. I started this in 2020, believe it or not. It's 2025 now. Anyway, I need to get going on this project again. So I think we're just gonna pick it up where we last left off, which was the fuel system. As you all remember, I did a video about a year ago where I put the fuel sending unit and pump into the tank. And now we're at the fuel lines. So we're gonna be pulling fuel lines. We're gonna get the fuel filter, the fuel pressure regulator, fuel rail. We're gonna get all that hooked up, and then we'll just kind of take it from there, because I do not want to start with this mess, because I have no idea what I did and where everything goes. So that's for a different day. Let's start with the fuel lines. I know how that goes. All right, so this is everything I have in the fuel way of things. So let's start from the tank. You know, we did the tank in the last episode or episode before that, or a few episodes before that, I can't remember. So we've already done that. So the tank is done. The tank has got a connector that fits into here. This is an AN connector. I think it's an AN8 if I'm not mistaken. So I've got an AN8 output on the tank. It will look something like this. So we're gonna attach this guy to the tank, and then we'll run this line along, and the next thing it's gonna hit is the one-way valve. One-way valve, that's a hard word. So this is a one-way valve. So obviously the fuel can only go one way. The idea behind this is that it's gonna sit right at the inlet of the fuel filter, so that when you turn the car off, the fuel won't go back to the tank. So we got a fitting here first. This is ridiculous because it's about a billion fittings. I should have probably put this somewhere else, but I've done it like this now. So we got an adapter here from male to female, and then we put the male and the female.
What?
Something like that. So we got the fuel in, can only go one way, goes through the fuel filter. We have another one of these over here. Actually, we have the hose connector too. So, I mean, this is what I mean by ridiculous. This is starting to be crazy right here. Right, so this is the fuel filter anyway. It goes on like that, and then we put another hose on here. It's gonna be situated in the middle of the car where the original fuel pump sits. So we'll just put that on there. We'll run a hose up to the fuel rail. So let's check that out. All right, so the fuel will come up from the fuel filter. It will go into the fuel rail right here. Pressurize that. And then we got this nice 180. So we'll attach that right here. Put that on there. Now here we have a little bit of a problem, because obviously there's going to be a hose on here, and I want them two to kind of join together. I have a little bracket that holds the pipes together, but I need something to hold it to here. But I guess we can make something, maybe just a zip tie or whatever, something along here. I'm also gotten into a lot of 3D printing lately, so maybe I can work something out there. So we have it from the fuel filter, comes up through the fuel rail, pressurizes it, goes up here, and then it will go back, or it will continue to the fuel pressure regulator. So this will be situated, or be sitting somewhere around here, I think. That looks like a pretty good spot for it. It's also, you know, with a bit of consideration that if something were to go wrong with this, we're not gonna, like if we have it up here, that could start squirting fuel all over the engine bay. I don't want that. So if it's gonna start leaking, it'll just drip down onto the frame rail here and just disappear. It's not gonna do any damage. So fuel from the fuel rail into here, and then down, out, and back to the tank. So I don't know how I'm supposed to film this, because it's like a really tough situation under here. I guess I could start by erasing the car up in the air. That would probably be a good start, you know. So after that, we do the shake test. Meh, probably not gonna fall down. All right, so I can see that the original hoses go through the drive shaft tunnel here. I guess we'll just do the same. That should be visible up top. Let's see if we can get in here without shutting the boot. Got the hose here, and then I'm gonna attempt to connect it to the sending unit here. It's a bit tricky, so I'm not gonna be able to film that. Oh, all right, so I got that on there, so you can see. So now we'll just keep pulling that. All right, so there's the connector on the tank, and I will zoom out a little bit. There it is. Goes through the tunnel on the other side here, and it comes out right here. We'll just continue with this over there. I think we need to do the, I think we need to kind of house the fuel filter first before we kind of move on here. Because I need to know where to cut this kind of precisely, because there's not a lot of give in this hose. All right, so we need to mount this on the plate that originally houses the, that normally houses the fuel pump. So we're gonna put this here, there, instead of there. Now, where is that plate? All right, so I managed to find the original fuel pump, fuel filter housing unit kit. And we'll just utilize this. We'll remove this stuff, and we'll just smack this on there. As a long mess of connectors. Jeez. We'll just pop this off, like so. Now we can access both the screws. There we go. Now we just get rid of this. Might need this connector here. So one original hole we can probably use. Let me put a bolt through that. Why not use this old one? Are you taping? Yes. Taping. Look at that. That's a hole there. We're gonna have to figure something out here. That's not gonna work. Let me show you how that looks like. Well, that's a bloody disaster. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Maybe I can put it on here. I don't know if it's the right direction on the right pipe or whatever. I need to check out what's in and out on this thing. But maybe I could put it there. So if I can fit this just like that. Yep. There we go. Just need to tighten that guy down once we got it in place. And everything should be well with the world. And now we just cut it according to length. It's not crazy amounts of rocket scientist. Rocket scientist. Yeah, so I'm just gonna cut wherever that is. I don't know what I'm doing either. All right, so we'll just use the angle grinder. I know it's not ideal, but we'll just make sure to flush it properly. It'll be just fine. I'm done overthinking just about everything. Let's just get something done, because I'm not getting anything done. And it's bothering me a lot. All right, so now I'm gonna show you how I do this. So we take the connector and make sure it's a PTFE connector. You screw that end off. You'll have a ferrule or ferret. I think ferret's an animal. So a ferrule, I'm gonna go with that. And then we put that on here. These are some soft plastic jaws. Tighten that down and you get your pipe, or your hose, I mean. And then you wanna clean that up a little bit. I've got a razor blade here, so I'm just gonna use that. Kinda tilt it down so you don't get all this further into the pipe. There you go. Just take the worst of it. Now you want to peel back this metal off of this PTFE hose, which can be a little tricky, but I use one of these plastic things that you use to like remove interior pieces with. We call it a fish bone in Sweden. And I just go around the hose or the PTFE inside here a couple of turns, because you want the ferrule to go on here smoothly and not get caught into these metal mesh that's around the hose. Then you take the ferrule, sure you don't have any metal pieces that get caught between the PTFE hose and the ferrule. Push that on there. Make sure once again that you don't have anything caught, and then you push the ferrule on. Somehow. Yeah. Holy crap, that worked very well. So you want the ferrule there to bottom out on the PTFE hose. Ah, I forgot. You're supposed to put this on first, because that's going to be dang near impossible now. So we'll just have to put it on the other side and feed it across 10 meters of pipe here. That's correct. Ow! Take a look at that ferrule once again. Looks good. And now we want to get this on here. Just pop that on there. Wiggle it in a little bit. Get it in there. You start to thread it down. Make sure you don't cross thread it. Then you can use one of these aluminum wrenches if you don't want to hurt the aluminium. And I hear some people say you should go all the way with this. Some say don't go all the way with it. So I kind of go all the way with it, but not really. So you leave like a little gap there in between. Hope that'll be fine. Come up there. Sort of ish about there. I think that'll be pretty okay. Gonna be something like that ish. Well, damn, you know, we are moving along. We're doing something. I'm excited. I like this. Now I just gotta figure out how to put this thing on here and what we're gonna do with this reverse valve thing going on here. I'll figure it out. All right, new day in the garage. Finally found out where the inputs and outputs of this is. So we have dual inputs. I guess that's for a V8, but we don't have that. So we're gonna have fuel in here, fuel out here. So this goes back to the tank. This one comes from the fuel rail. Because what we're doing is we're restricting the fuel flow on the return. That way you build up pressure, hence the fuel pressure, which we're gonna set using this little screw here. Anyway, think I'll get to mounting this somehow. I think I'm gonna have to do it a little bit provisoriskt, as we say in Sweden, temporarily, because I don't have those screw-in nuts right now. But we'll just place it here, maybe stripe it up or something. I don't know. All right, so I guess we'll run this fuel line now. We'll go down. We'll go behind the steering shaft and then come up into the fuel pressure regulator. And there we go. Now we just need to make it the right length. Hope I have enough wire. So it's gonna have to go through here, and then it's gonna have to go behind the steering rack. All right, so I have these two, which are gonna be clamped onto the hose. Onto the hose itself. So I think I'll clamp these down here. That'll kind of hold these in the same place. And then I'll put one a little bit further down. And then I'll put some kind of bracket onto the inner fender here. So hopefully that'll do. All right, so I'll just put a tape where I think I'll need to cut it. Ish, kind of, sort of. So now I'll just unbolt everything again. Take it out. Okay. And there's our hose. So I just pulled the return hose back to the tank. So that's all hooked up here. Now I'll just pop underneath again and see if I can feed that up to the rear. So the problem we're facing now is that we need to go from this PTFE hose to a regular hose because I don't have a PTFE fitting on the return on the tank because I didn't bother to do that. Maybe I should have, but I didn't. And so I need something to kind of hold this back at the tank with a screw on it that I have somewhere, maybe, perhaps. Yep, I think I do have one of those. And so that I can just take that PTFE hose that comes from the car, put it on there. This bracket will be on the car. And then I can just hook a pipe in between the tank and this. I've got the hose, just your standard little gas hose, nothing special, 8 millimeters. And then I have made this little plate here, drilled a hole through it, put this fitting here that converts PTFE hose to regular hose. Some hardware, it'll be nice. All right, so we'll get this mounted up right beside the tank. So the tank's gonna be right here. Put that there. PTFE hose comes up here, and voila, you get the deal, right? So, other than that, we have some, clamps for the fuel lines and some more clamps for underneath the car. So, let's put that there, and then hopefully we can flush the system and make sure everything works. I don't know how much you guys are gonna be able to see here. Kind of crammed in here, to be honest. Still pretty flexible. There we go. All right, so we're gonna be putting this thing in here. Now we have a little bit of a problem here because this is double plated, or double sided, if you will. So you have a piece of steel here, and then you have a piece of steel on the other side. So, well, actually, it's spot welded right here. So they actually meet here, so maybe that would be a good place to put this. No, it wouldn't, because that would stick out, because it's not made for that. Oh, might put it, could just possibly fit it right here. All right, so after some thinking, I'm gonna put it right here, and we'll attach it something like that. We'll have the return line going in here. It'll convert to a hose and go to the tank. I think that'll work. And if it doesn't work, we'll fix it when we go to paint. Let's just put it here somewhere. How about right there? All right, so what I'm gonna do now is attach this entire fuel line from the front to the back. I'm gonna use the brackets that I showed you guys earlier. I'm gonna use those threaded rivets. Yeah, you all know what I'm talking about. It's this kind, when you got the little holder, you tighten it, and it becomes a little threaded insert into whatever you want, which is really nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll attach the hoses. I don't want to film it because it's underneath and it's a pain in the ass. So I'm just gonna fix that pretty quickly, and then we'll get back to this. All right, so I got the fuel lines up there, and that was not an easy job. Holy crap. Let me show you how it turned out though. All right, so this is kind of how it looks like. Very hard to film under here, it's very dark. So right up there we have the return line going into a regular fuel hose that goes into the tank. And then it goes along here. Goes through the tunnel right there. All right, so then it comes down here, it goes into a bracket here. We've got several brackets all along here. We have the evap line just kind of striped onto the outside. We have fuel in, fuel return, goes to the filter, and carries along up to the engine. And this is kind of the trickiest part right here, getting all this mess decent with all the pipes going here and there and not hitting the steering column, and drilling, tapping for a bracket down there, and getting this set up. We got the pressure checker on there, so I'll just be adjusting that pressure later. I have put the plug, apparently there was a plug that needed to go into the fuel rail, so I put that in on the other side. And we also have these brackets here that are supposed to hold the fuel injectors, so we need to get those on there. Although I don't think they can go anywhere because, you know, this whole fuel rail is held down by this bracket. But, you know, better safe than sorry, I guess. And back at the tank, we've got everything hooked up here. We have fuel out. The fuel return is kind of sticking up here because I need to flush everything. But everything is coming along. Let's get this system flushed. I have put one of these hoses on here for flushing out everything before the fuel rail. I don't know if you guys can see that. So it's sitting right there. So everything that goes into the fuel filter will kind of have to just be filtered because it's very hard to get the connector off down with the filter. That might be a problem when we go to fix the filter, but we'll deal with that then. But I don't want any dirt into the injector. So I've got this little adapter here, so I'll just put this into a gas can and we'll force the fuel pump to run. All the stuff will hopefully come out of here and then we'll connect it. I'm not going to worry about all the stuff that's in the hose here either, going through the fuel pressure regulator. The particles are so small, it's not going to harm anything, I don't think. And then we'll just collect it at the back so it doesn't go into the tank. And then we'll set the pressure, check for leaks, end of story. That's fuel system done. Then we need to move on to the electricals and a bunch of other things. But we'll take a look at that once we're done flushing the system. And that brings us to a problem. We need fuel. I don't have any fuel. Actually, never mind, because I did actually found an old one. Hopefully, if I remember correctly, I put regular gas into the green ones and mixed gas into the red ones. So let's just fill this up and see what happens. Did I tighten the filler neck? Yeah. I think I did. I don't really know what we're gonna be dumping it into, but let's just dump it into this thing, which will fall over and just pour gas all over the garage. Got some leaves in there, that's nice. Will that shoot out? I'm not sure. Maybe it will. There we go. I managed to break my trusty top-down charger by stepping on it, so I'll have to get new of these clamps. We'll just get those out of the way. We'll just hook power onto the gray one and negative to the black one, because that is most likely how it's supposed to be, right? You guys can keep an eye up here. Oh shoot, yep, that is definitely going. Ha ha! Ah, dang it. Look how fast that filled that up. Holy crap. I'm just gonna go ahead and tighten everything so that it doesn't leak. Alright, so I made sure that everything's kind of tight. Hopefully that fuel pressure isn't crazy high. I don't know. So we can put that like so that I can see it. And then we'll need to catch the fuel back here now. Here we go. I gotta keep my eyes on a lot of things here. But I'm ready to yank the cable out. We'll watch the fuel pressure, see what that goes up to. And see if we get some return here. It's pretty good. Still don't have anything back here. We have no fuel in the return line. So what I'm thinking is that fuel pressure regulator is probably at full pressure and the pump isn't getting enough power to make anything of it. Like it can't perform higher than 3.3 bars. But it's holding pressure, which is really nice. We have no leaks, which is pretty cool. All right, so we'll just adjust here until this kind of goes down. Oh, that's all loosey-goosey. All right. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now it's dropping. Powering up. Oh, we're getting a little trickle back here. A little trickle. But I am maxing out the battery charger here, so I think it's just a question of power. We simply don't have enough power. But we got that set at 3 bars. That'll be nice. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and put the return line where it's supposed to be, because we got all the gunk out. It was definitely not a lot. Alright guys, this feels amazing. I know I've been pretty slow with this project, but I'm about to pick it up for 2025. I really want to get this thing finished, but you know, you've heard me say that before, so I guess I'll just have to prove it to you. Now we got the fuel done, which is a major step in the right direction. Now there's basically nothing stopping us but a few wires and some hoses, and then we should be able to crank this thing, which is insane. It actually feels very much within reach to drive this thing this summer, no problem. I mean, honestly, I should be able to drive this next weekend if I really put the hammer down, but you know, YouTube, filming, life, kids, whatever. It's a lot of things. I'm very busy, and I got a lot of stuff coming up this year. You can watch it on my other channel, Mattias Backman, my normal Swedish channel where I speak Swedish, where you can kind of follow along everything that's going on around the house and stuff. We're going to be putting in some septic stuff and, you know, very much non-car related things. See you guys in the next video. Ha det gött. Hi.